Hello everyone, welcome to our new episode of Between Two Teachers. I'm Consuelo Lara.
I'm Madeline Kronenberg.
And we're here today with our swag here. And
this is from the Oakland teachers strike. I was at both days of the organization's strike, Thursday and Friday, and they gave these out on Thursday when we were at the Franco Gowa Plaza for the initial strike, and then yesterday was Friday. Friday we marched from a rally that Dolores Huerta spoke at, along with many other folks. I had some pictures of it on my Facebook page, and my Facebook page is now, both our Facebook pages are linked now to the YouTube channel, so you can click on and follow both of us there, as well as subscribe and follow us here. But during the rally, Dolores pointed out the importance of facing the billionaires who are trying to take over our schools, the Wall Street charters that really are the root cause of the problem in Oakland and problems that we foresee here in West Contra Costa. So when I saw these shirts, Phenomenal Teachers, I thought of us, and here we have it. I also wanted to point out this is a quilt that's been that I put together from a number of different shirts that I've had over the years that are connected to the school district, including the school board race, the school district's own shirts that Mr. Duffy brought in, Consuelo's Stand with Pride, the teachers group, the young teachers group. This is the Mira Vista Bees, where my children started in the 80s. The music program at Kennedy that started in 2018. This is the El Sobrani Boys and Girls Club, the Dijon Alpha Wolves, and of course, No Rocket Ship. And this is an original. I think this is back from the 90s. El Cerrito Gaucho.
That's great.
So that's our
background.
That's our background, our official background for Between Two Teachers.
Great, as we live and breathe.
Yes.
Schools.
Yes.
Before we go on in a little bit more, we're going to talk more about the strike, and then I had a visit with Buffy Wicks. I'm going to talk about that. But I want to give out a little shout out to Jasmine Jones, who's now the ED. She might not too new, but recent, is now director of the Ed Fund. I had the opportunity to sit and talk with her, and she is a homegrown person from the school district, and she went to Stige Elementary, so it's just great, and she's got some great visions, and I was very impressed with her, and so you'll see big things happening with the Ed Fund and that organization, so I was really happy about that. Yeah, and school was out, so we had a lot of opportunity to do other things and visit, and we still had Genoveva and I do the Latina group, the girls group at Richmond High. We took them up to Contra Costa College. Some of them want to do concurrent enrollment, and one girl is going to start in the fall. So we just took them up there, make sure they had everything up to date, they had their paperwork, and we went to the restaurant that's up there. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And everybody that works there is a student. And so they're all practicing, being servers. They don't call them waiters.
On-the-job training.
Yeah. So that was fun. We did that as well. So the visit with Buffy was organized by Gabe Weiss from CSBA, and there was actually at least one person from every district. School district in Buffy's District 15. So I thought it was very positive, and it was a very, of course the focus was school funding, because regardless of which district we're from, we all have the same issues, and that is funding. And so she gave a shout out She even said, today I met with elected school board members from across 8015, regardless of which part of the district. Richmond, Berkeley, Oakland, or Piedmont, they all share the same warning. We're drastically underfunding our schools. And it causes sorts of issues. We can't pay teachers a living wage, keeping us from providing students with services they need, and results in pitting education advocates against each other, fighting for limited resources. And we must close the corporate loopholes and reform Prop 13. So she knows what's going on, and she seems very supportive of education, public education, and she also asked about charter schools, and so I was able to give her a copy of our moratorium that we're going to vote on this Wednesday, the 27th. Please come to our school board meeting. We are going to vote at that time on this resolution. So I was able to give her a copy of it and talk about the impact it has. Oakland was there so that we could talk about how people need to understand that it doesn't affect every school district, and that's why sometimes you don't hear a lot about it. But the districts that are affected are impacted in a very negative way, and it's very destructive. And these what do you call them, Wall Street charters, and how the billionaires are privatizing the schools. So this is a big issue for us here in West Contra Costa County. So anything else?
Well, I'll just say, to add to that, the yesterday at the rally, there was a march from the rally to Go Public Schools. And Go Public Schools has funded the campaigns of many school board members, the majority of the school board right now. And Go Public Schools has, without question, been political advocates for growing the charter sector. And Oakland has the highest percentage of charter school children of anywhere in California. Over 30% of their children are in charter schools. And the drain to the school district is said to be $57 million a year. If they had that $57 million a year, they wouldn't be going on strike. What has happened is the way the funding has been changed over the past few years with LCFF. Governor Brown and the plan around LCFF was to fund California schools with an eye towards social justice and to give more money to children who need them more money. The problem has been that those children are now being targeted by Wall Street charters. And the Wall Street charters, those folks that have put in a large number of charter schools in school districts that serve underserved communities, are draining off money from the district schools so that it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that the district schools are not able to effectively serve their children, and then can get labeled as failing schools, and then it just cycles down and down. And that is the reason for the resolution. That is the reason that Governor Newsom is doing a task force to understand what the economic impact is. And he will find that the 300, and there's something like 337 charter schools in the state of California. Most of them are in districts where there's less than 5. The concentration is in very few districts, but that concentration has grown in our district. It's also grown in Oakland, and it's grown in LA, and it's grown in Silicon Valley, in the East Side, and in Santa Clara County. Those are the places where we have to look at the fact that children are really, really being hurt by there not being a cap of those charters. And our own representatives, elected representatives, are forced to vote against the interest of the people who elected them. The other day there was a presentation at the Pinole City Council, and the mayor, or not the mayor, but a council member, one of the council members, Pete Murray, who's been on the council for many years, said, and he is not familiar necessarily with school funding, but he assumed that the law would have a the ability to have a safety net, a financial safety net for school districts with respect to authorizing charter schools, meaning that we would look at the financial impact, and if it was negative on the district, that we wouldn't have to do it. And that financial safety net does not exist. That is why we have to have a statewide safety net put in place, and what that would be a cap, so that no district winds up where Oakland is now, where 30% of their children are gone, and those legacy costs are shared among a smaller group of children. There is no way they can compete with charter schools that are able to have more money per student to offer, and to be able to split among their funders. So, so that's a long explanation, but I hope it's clear. I will put some links below so you understand where this information comes from, and for people who want to read more, you can read more. You can certainly contact either of us to talk to you about any of the details around this. We really do hope that you come and join us on Wednesday night and speak to the school board, and then move on, and we have to speak to our legislators like Buffy Wicks, Nancy Skinner, and everybody else in the state, to make sure that they understand that this is a safety net our children need, and without this safety net, all the other work that's been done isn't going to be able to save us from going into a trusteeship again. And my greatest fear is that we have to give back the 15% raise that we worked so hard to pass last year.
And that is a real danger, isn't it?
Yes, because I saw it happen. In 1991, there were a different set of circumstances, but the outcome was the same. We were unable to meet financial commitments, and the school district had given a raise, a 9% raise to their teachers, which they had to rescind. And it was devastating,
Sure.
and my children who were in school then, and their teachers will always remember the impact of losing services and having teachers leave, and the anger and frustration from that is immeasurable. So I don't want to see that happen again here, and I do see the possibility of that if we're not able to stop the drain on our funds.
Which is the point of this resolution. It's calling for, the moratorium means a temporary suspension, and it's asking for a suspension on new charters. So that's something, you know, that is needed, like you say. And the other part of that has to do with transparency and accountability, and that's also covered by this new bill, SB 126.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing new in here. It's not, nowhere does it say, we're going to close your school. Not going to happen. So if anybody wants to come with a sign says, don't close our schools, well, guess what? You know, somebody's telling you some things that are far from the truth, and trying to get people riled up and picketing, and, you know, there's just no cause for it, because it's a temporary suspension and then oversight, which is only fair. You know, follow the Brown Act. Let's look at your board meetings. I mean, these are no-brainers. Nobody should be protesting about opening your books and having public meetings. I mean, that's what public schools do. They have public meetings. So we hope you'll come by and on the 27th, and you know, see what you can speak at public comments, etc. So I think that's all
I think that's it. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to seeing you, and if you can't come, you can certainly email board members, email us, and share your thoughts, because we really do need to stand together as a group, as is happening in Oakland, and stand together with the teachers in Oakland. This is another piece of swag we received. This was on my car, and I got there. The Oakland teachers are doing an incredible job. Here we have this too. Here we are.
Oh yeah.
so
Oh,
you've
there, I've
yours.
got mine.
All right. Yeah, these are our sound makers. And this is when they went to go public schools on yesterday. These are the dollars. The dollar, this is play money, that they put up on the building to just make it clear that this Wall Street, this is where the money, this is an organization that is not a grassroots organization. It's a grass top organization that came in, funded by billionaires, to take over a democratically elected school board and to diminish what is able to be offered to our children, and to just take us to slice off some money for themselves. That's what it's about. That's what they've done, and that's why we were given this money to put all over the building. So,
Okay.
we'll see you soon. Next time we speak, we'll be able to tell you what happened on Wednesday.
Yes, absolutely. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned.